What's up, everybody, and welcome to Pillow Talk, Moment with the Mobleys. I am Johnny Mobley Jr.,
And I'm Deirdra Mobley.
and we are an ordinary couple.
With extraordinary purpose.
What's up, world? What's up? Welcome,
Hey, y'all.
welcome to another episode of Pillow Talk. And as always, we go do what? Jump right in. We don't play no games, y'all. We coming to you with something big today.
Jump in, baby.
All right, we gonna talk about this 4-letter word that's used. Some use it very loosely, others scared to use it. But we gonna talk about it. You want to tell them what it is?
It's the L word. L-O-V-E.
That's right, y'all.
What you do to me.
We talking about the love word.
That's
love
the song
word.
right there, baby.
So we got a lot of different meanings of what love, what people think love is, and what we have experienced through our over 30 years of being together, what love is. Love has showed itself in many different forms that we had no idea that it could be love. So we're going to start out with the grassroots of what love is from the Webster Dictionary. That's right. That's what I said. The Webster Dictionary. That's what most people get their definitions from. So we can go ahead and read that right now. We'll read a couple of them, y'all. All right. Love is an intense feeling of deep affection.
For Deirdra.
For Deirdra. That's not what it say, but that's what we going to make it say. Number 2, a great intense and pleasure in something.
You intensely love me. Yes, Lord.
Number 3, feel a deep romantic or sexual attraction to someone. There's a lot of deep and intense and pleasure and, all that stuff in it.
So do you want me to read like the biblical
I want you to read
the
what
key
God
concepts,
said. Yeah,
like
what
the
God
biblical
said.
meaning of it?
Yeah.
Because in the Bible makes many meanings out of love, but I have a few key concepts to remember when it comes to what the Bible says about love. Can I share it with the people, baby?
Knock yourself out.
Love is trusting in our God. It's being faithful to your partner and your families. And above all, love is being kind and patient with the world around you. That's love, baby.
Well,
It's a few concepts.
what does, I thought you were going to read that from the Bible.
Well, you want me to read the scripture from it?
Yeah, could you read that part from it? But we got a lot of different ones. That was the Webster Dictionary. I'm going to read this Urban Dictionary, too, of what love is.
Okay. Well, go ahead. Give us that.
They just so deep in the Urban Dictionary.
Well, tell us what it is.
Love
baby.
is, in order to define love, we have to first differentiate between what is normally called love and true conscious love. I ain't going to even go into all that. They trying to break it down into all kind of science and all this. All right, so
I have a couple, like you said, from the Bible. You want me to do that?
yeah,
Or
I'm
you want to do
not
that?
going to read this urban stuff.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Well, in 1 John 4, love is relational, means loving one another. 1 Corinthians 16:14, love is a life purpose, meaning do everything in love. 1 Corinthians 13:2, without love, actions are meaningless. Which says, if I have the gift of prophecy and can fathom all mysteries and all knowledge, and if I have a faith that can move mountains, but I do not have love, I am nothing. 1 Peter 4:8, above all, love each other deeply because love covers a multitude of sins. So in that aspect, love forgives. And love is the greatest emotion of all. 1 Corinthians 13:13. And now these three remain, faith, hope, and love. But the greatest of these, he said the greatest of these, baby, is love. 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 Is what God wants humans to do. John 15:12. My command is this. It's the command given by God. Love each other as I have loved you. Love is a virtue, Colossians 3:14. And over all these virtues, put on love, which binds them all together in perfect unity. Ephesians 4:2 and 3. Love is soft and kind, with all humility and gentleness, with patience, bearing with one another in love, eager to maintain the unity of the Spirit in the bond of peace. Love is light, according to 1 John 4:12. No one has ever seen God, but if we love one another, God lives in us, and his love is made complete in us. And last but not least, baby, love is a language. That's going to be the second part to this, because this is the first part. But we're going to have a second part talking about love languages. But love is a language. Romans 12:10. Be devoted to one another in love. Honor one another above yourselves. That
right.
deserves an amen behind it.
Amen. Amen. I'm gonna put a offering on the. Well, I'll tell you about that
On the
later.
nightstand. I appreciate you. You can share it with the people. We're
Listen.
married.
All right, so I got another definition of love. It's a lot of different definitions of what
Yeah.
people think love is. This said love is one of the most intense emotions that we experience as humans. It is a variety of different feelings, states, and attitudes that range from interpersonal affection to pleasure. Love can be defined as an intense feeling or affection with no limits or conditions for a person. Agape love,
Yep, that's
which is
it.
unconditional or divine love.
That's
So,
Greek, baby, in origin.
so out of all the definitions that we've read, of course, the one in the Bible and that last one I just read was probably be the most organic definition of love that I would express. So in the over 30 years, tell me what your definition of love is. And I don't want this big, deep, scriptural. I want from 1990,
1986.
86. Let's go from you. You probably did love me when you first saw
I
me.
did, baby.
So from
Love. It was love at
1986,
first sight.
1986. Explain that love and explain the in middle parts of love all the way to now, where you at now. Tell me what the different words that popped in your mind that came up to describe love in our relationship that you never thought would come up.
That I never thought would come up. At first, I said love at first sight, but it was lust at first sight. It was. I loved you quickly, but it was lust at first
No,
sight.
you ain't love me quickly.
I did love you quickly. I
Oh,
did.
you talk about with the feeling.
Yeah, once
Yeah.
I got,
Because you
I
ain't
got
give
to
me
know
no
you.
loving quickly.
It's more than just the act. Pumpkin.
Well, at that time, the 1986 Johnny said you ain't love me because you ain't give me nothing.
Well, here we are. You're the 47-year-old Johnny, and you know.
Yeah.
You know better. But at first, it was a lust. But then it grew to a like, and then to a love. And now there's a lot of things that came up. Of course, we know that the greatest love is God. God's love for us.
That's what we say now.
Yeah, that's what we say
But
now.
then that's not what you was thinking.
Right. You're right. You're
So
right. You're absolutely right.
My question to you is: in 1986, we met. You saw me. I made some things tingle on you when you saw me, and then we moved forward. So it was different things that came up. What part of it?
Let me know.
Yeah, because
that it was true love.
What you said was that you lusted me, then you liked me, then you loved me.
Uh-huh.
And mine was actually different.
Really?
And see, this is if a lot of men are very, very honest with themselves, they probably feel like this too. I lusted you, and then I loved you. But the liking part did come for quite a bit.
Okay, I can agree with that.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Because I knew what unconditional love was. I knew that you was gonna be my wife. So in my mind, I already had in my mind what it was gonna be. But still, then I only knew a fraction of what love was.
Right. So for me, and like you said, it comes from a personal perspective, because for me, as I stated, it started out with a lust because of what I saw. But then as we began to learn each other, that lust turned into more of a, I really like him. And I told you, and I'll say this until the day I leave this earth, the one thing that drew me to you was your heart and it was your kindness. But most importantly, for me, you opened that door. And this may sound crazy, ladies, and it may sound like, what? Like, for real? You opened the door for me. And that's something that I said in one of the other episodes. You still do that for me today.
Absolutely.
So for that what that speaks to me, even the opening of a door speaks love to me, because that's you putting yourself before me. And for me, that's what love is for me. You put yourself before me. You put me before you.
Right.
That's what I'm meaning to say. Excuse me. Let me correct that. You put me before you. And for you to open a door before you open the door for yourself to get into a vehicle, you looked out for me to make sure that I was secure in that. And so it grew beyond that, because then you even when you hurt me because of the way you loved me, there was something still deep inside of me that said, this hurt will pass, because he truly loves you and he didn't understand what was going on or what he did to hurt you. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So for me, that's the greatest form of love ever. That even when you hurt me, I still knew, I never questioned your love for me. For me, that was it. Throughout the high points in our marriage, throughout the low points in our marriage, even when there was hurt that was inflicted by you, I was able to deal with it. I was able to ask God to heal me from it. I was able to heal from it because I knew that in your heart of hearts, you loved me and that you were concerned about me. You were concerned about my heart. Even with you having to grow, because I need people to understand and remember, we were 14 when we met. So there's a lot of this stuff that you weren't maturing. And so we actually grew with each other. But the one thing that let me know that there was that you truly loved and cared for me, even the time that we were apart. Like I told you, like I said and told the people, when you said that Brianna wasn't your child, even that didn't make me hate you, Johnny. So for me, that was big for me, because I knew that your actions weren't actions of someone that didn't love me. It was someone who didn't know how to deal with a particular situation. And that was an action that was brought on from that immaturity or you not knowing how to handle it. But through this whole time, I can honestly say that I knew you loved me, not by what you said, because you said it, but because of what you did. Because of your actions. Even when there were bad actions, I knew that in your heart of hearts that you loved me, because you put me first. And even now that I've watched you grow, now that I've grown, I know not only that you love me, but I know that you cherish me. Because you think about my needs before your own. You think about how whatever decision you make is going to affect me. You think about, if I go and I do this, how is this going to affect my wife? If I'm thinking about, if something's happening at work and you want to react one way, you're thinking about, okay, so if I do this and I lose my job, how is this going to affect my wife? If I do this and do that, how's that going to affect Deirdra? That's a true testament of love.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. I know at times. I know at times being a man and having friends that are men, now and from the past. I know one of the things that they used to always tell me is that I needed my own space as a man, and not even them not even knowing some of them not even being married, they would tell me you gonna need your own space as a man because when you get married, she gonna want to be with you all the time. She gonna want to be next to you, want to talk to you, all this other stuff. You're not gonna ever have time to breathe. She gonna be like a ball and chain, and that's where they used to have the little chain that be clamped to your ankle, and like now you got this with you all the time. So in life growing up, I had people tell me these things that didn't even experience it. And I'm big on research and listening. I've always been like that. But you can't really teach me nothing if you ain't been through nothing.
Yeah.
And that was what I thought about even back then. You can't really teach me a whole lot of stuff or give me advice on something that you've never been through. So you giving me advice based on your opinion about whatever, or you getting it from someone else.
Right. What
so
you think
I can't,
you know.
Yeah, I can't go with that.
Yeah.
So a lot of stuff that I heard, I didn't really make choices on that. But what I did learn about love is that it has so many different meanings. I wouldn't even say different meanings. I would say it's so many parts to love.
Yeah.
When you love someone from even the lust part of it, the lust part, the love part, and I loved you. And this is the thing. I said I loved you way before I started liking you, because you were easy to love.
Yeah.
You was hard to like.
But I was easy to love.
You was easy to love, but it was hard to like. Now, let me explain that.
Please.
The love part is her wanting my best interest at hand, her wanting me to be successful, her wanting to support me in the different things that I want to do. The liking part was the every daily, day-to-day communicating about anything. It was like I had my mind, and this is the crazy part, my mind always worked different. So I got my sisters, they called me Red back in the day because they said I was real extra deep. They could ask me a question about anything. My daughters would come to me and they would ask me to go to parties and house parties, and I would give them a percentage of, people who either get hurt or given date rape drugs or whatever in a house party or whatever the case is, and they just say, you just can't never give me a yes or no.
Or they used to say you overthink things, Daddy. Why you got to be so deep?
And my whole thing was with our daughters, even in that part of love with our daughters, I wanted them to be able to make a good decision, but you can't make a good decision if you don't know all the information. And I wanted to give them as much information as I possibly could. But at that time, just like it was with us, we didn't care. We was going to take the chance because that was back then when you was doing it, but it's different now, Daddy. Yeah, it's different now. Joker don't drop pill on you. They could just rub something across your lip and you lick it and then you gone. So it's just different now. But with the love, the like part, I just really, at one point in time in our life, I just really thought that I was going to be able to love you, and the like part was just going to never happen. I didn't know. It didn't seem like we were never on the same page about nothing, that we never saw eye to eye, that we couldn't talk because if I wanted to have a conversation, it was too hard or too rough or whatever for you, and you would cry. And then 4 days later, you want to write me a letter and then talk about it. And I was like, I don't even remember having this conversation. What you talking about?
But that was my process.
And I understand
that. Was my process.
I understand that now,
right.
but I didn't then.
Right.
So at one point in time, I just thought it was going to never happen. I was like, this is going to be a marriage that I'm going to love her to the day we die, but I'm not going to be able to have fun with her. I'm not going to be able to have a regular conversation with her because she got stuff going on in her that I don't know about. I don't know how to, back, I don't know what she want. What does she want from me? What can I do? I just didn't know. And I had people in my life that I would allow certain access to certain areas of my life. And all these jokers I used to ask about it, they would tell me, well, just pray about it. Joker, I need an answer. Yeah, God will give you the answer. Just pray about it. I'm like, you ain't got nothing for me. You've been married for 75 years. You ain't got nothing. Yeah, just pray about it. Just pray about it. That's all you got. Whatever, man. But what I found out about that is, you know, that God has a certain plan and a certain assignment for each individual life. So with me and you being married, that's in God's eyes, that's one life. So our call, our thing was different. So that's what, you know, sparked the soon and upcoming book, The Perfect Recipe for Your Relationship, because each relationship has its own purpose, its own ingredients. Some stuff is the same, but a lot of stuff is different.
Yeah.
So I didn't know. So
And we had to find, I think, what worked for us.
yeah, and that's the biggest thing. So once we started finding what worked for us, and you know, I stopped letting people get in my ear and say, "You supposed to be working, man. She supposed to be cleaning the house." Well, you know, she don't clean the house. What you want me to do with that? So if she don't clean the house, what need to do? If she ain't cleaning the house and you working, then you know you need to get rid of her. Yeah, that's not an option. So I don't need to talk to you no more. Next, you know, and that's how I would usually do it. I was like, somebody got to have the answer. Some of these jokers, yeah, you home with your wife don't clean, but you still there, but you telling me to leave my wife, whatever, joker. So I started beginning to ask, and then I would go back to those certain people, ask them, and then the same thing, they would tell me the same thing, man, go pray about it. So I took that advice and I went and prayed. And I prayed and I prayed and I prayed, and I did not get any type of answer. And then from teaching from church, good Bible teaching church, you know, sometimes we overthink our relationship with God because He is a holy and righteous God. We feel like we have to put the sandals on and be dipped in, you know, oil before we go before Him and all these other things. Where that's not the case.
Yeah.
It's the
He
case
just wants
is
you to
He
come
wants
to
you
him,
to come
talk to
to
him.
Him and talk to
Yeah.
Him.
Yeah.
So it wasn't until that time I had that organic conversation with God, and I said, "Look, I'm with her. I'm trying to make it work. I need you to tell me." And then I began to ask the right questions. And it wasn't no fluff with it. And when I began to ask the right questions, He began to reveal certain things to me.
Yeah.
So one of the things He revealed to me was she needs a leader. And right now, you're not that. And
My God.
I was a little.
You weren't happy with that answer, were you?
No, I wasn't. I was a little.
Right.
I like, Joker, what you mean? I'm right here. I got a wife and 5 kids. I'm right here handling business. What you talking about? I ain't no leader. Joker, I'm paying the bill. I'm handling. What you talking about? I ain't no leader.
And then when you shut up.
You're not a leader. She needs a leader, and you're not a leader. Your kids need a leader, and you're not a leader. So I need you to step up and be the leader that I've already ordained you to be. I ain't even know what that means.
Wow.
So
that's a revelation, though, Mobley.
That began to change my mindset and my thinking.
Yeah.
So once I started changing my mindset and my thinking, it was something that I've never heard.
Mm-hmm.
I've never heard, you know, being a leader in your household. I've never heard that.
Yeah.
I've, you know, heard being king of your castle. I've heard you the man of the house.
You the man.
Never heard about being no leader.
Yeah.
So I'm like, with the leader thing come responsibilities, Joker. I mean, I got to teach certain things. I got to lead.
And lead by example.
And that was the biggest thing.
Yeah.
So I had to lead by example. And the decisions that I had to make, it was completely different. So once I began to try to implement things like that, and I started studying and reading and just going after it, that's when the relationship began to change.
Yeah, I can honestly say that.
Because
that's true.
once I started showing any type of residue of me being a leader, you
followed.
Followed.
Yeah. Yeah.
You followed.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that I said, hey,
Yeah.
I'm a leader, follow me right now.
Follow
It
me,
wasn't like
heifer.
that. It was like I just started doing certain things, and
And I reacted.
your
Right.
reaction was
Right.
follow him.
Yeah.
So it was like,
Yeah.
okay, it's that easy.
Yeah.
And then he told me, no, it ain't easy, Joker. This just you on the right path now. So now this is what you need to do.
Yeah.
So as I continue to do that, that was one part. That's one part of a love language that we'll talk about on the next episode. But that's one part of a love language that you needed in your life to be fulfilled. But you didn't know what it was.
Right.
And I had no
agree
clue.
with that.
I
agree
didn't
with
know
that. Yeah.
that leadership was even a part of a love language.
Yeah.
I didn't
I
even know
agree
none
with
of
that.
that. So once I learned that, it was like, wow. So basically, Lord, what you telling me is that first of all, what I need is you. First of all. Second of all I need to do is become a better leader for my family, and that's going to change everything. And the answer was yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Because that gave you what the Power of a Praying Wife gave me that I didn't want to read.
Yeah.
When the first page I thought was going to give me the answers to change you.
Oh, yeah.
In essence, it gave me, you have to start with yourself. Anytime you want to see change in your partner, your spouse, somebody that that you're close to, anytime you want to see that change, you first have to be that change.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to read that. So yeah, I take that. Yeah, that is I confirm it, y'all. That was truth. And another thing that showed me that there was change within you is when you gave your life truly gave your heart to God
Yeah.
without prompting from me anymore, without threatening,
And it wasn't
you need to
even
go
at
to
church.
church. Right, it wasn't at church. You need to do this and you need to do that because I can't handle these kids by myself. I was trying to infringe what I wanted to see you happen for you, but not thinking about the fact that you had to have that revelation. You had to have that moment with God that would bring you to him and bring you closer to him, because when you started to truly crave him and to get in your word and to read your word, that did something else for me.
Yeah.
That gave me a greater boost to say, and I think that was around the time when I did tell you, like, I'm following you as you're following Christ.
Oh my God. That was a whole different
Yeah.
that was a whole different
Yeah.
So when I remember that day,
Yeah.
so at this time, when that actually literally happened, one thing I want to go back to, when I said I did not give my life to Christ in a church building, I gave my life to Christ in Publix parking lot. So to understand just people in general, to
Yeah.
understand who God is, you have to acknowledge the things that don't make sense that happen to you. When God do certain things, it's no mess up.
Crazy.
It's no you have no other explanation for it, that it was a supernatural miracle by God. And you have to acknowledge that. Because if you don't, you saying God is not present in your life. When he wants to show himself, it's not enough that he wakes us up in the morning. It's not enough that you're in your right mind.
That's
it's not
love.
enough that all this is God's
love.
unconditional love
Yeah.
for us. But we
Yeah.
take that stuff for granted. So when he do something out of the ordinary or supernatural, when he shows up and then leaves, when he shows himself through someone and then leave, when certain things just happen in the instant, in the moment, no matter how big or small it is, and he shows his presence up close and personal, and then he pulls back. And then we say that was just luck. He got to do it 75 more times for me to believe. Well, he's not gonna do that. I mean, he's a God of a God of love, unconditional love. He's a God of structure. He's an honorable God,
Yeah.
and he will show
And
himself
he can do
to
it
you.
any way he wants.
But you
to
have
do
to
it.
acknowledge when he is present.
Yeah.
And that's our biggest fault as humans. And I'm going to go as far as to say as Christians, because we think, because we are Christian, that we got a certain amount, we got a certain relationship with God, and we take that thing for granted. And then you want to act like you see this every day. Joker, you don't see miracle signs and wonders every day. You're just not on that level.
Yeah.
So when you see it, you need to recognize it and respond to it. You can't just allow certain things to happen in your life, not just in a church building, but in your home, in a parking lot, in certain things. So when I tell you, I gave my life to Christ on my knees in a parking lot, ran out of gas, pulling out of a parking space in Publix, went in there to get my family some food, did not have no money on none of the cars I had peanut butter jelly and some bread. That's what I was going to buy. And this couple came up behind me and paid for my food and then some. And then I walked out. They walked behind me, and then they came behind me when I pulled out. I ran out of gas. They came behind me, gave me money. Listen to me. Gave me money. I was on my knees because I said, Lord, this is it. It was raining. Remember that day like it was raining? I had a 1991 Ford Taurus. But I backed up and the car ran out of gas in the middle of backing up. And I got out the car and I got on my knees right then and I said, God, this is it. I give up. I give my life to you. I can't do it no more. And that same couple that paid for my food, they came out and they gave me $20. And then they said, God bless you, and walked off. And I was crying, but I got up to tell them thank you and to hug them. And there was nobody there. So that would have been a bad moment if I did not recognize who created that moment. Because at that time, I had needs, and God supplied every last one of them. Maybe not the way I wanted it to, maybe not at fast as I wanted it, but he supplied every need that I needed right then because I was in a place of vulnerability that allowed him to come in.
Mm-hmm.
So from that day forward, I've been living for him ever since.
Yeah.
So there's moments when you have to recognize and you have to understand and know that is God. He's with us more than we will ever believe. Ever believe. So back to the love. So becoming a leader in my household was huge. That was huge, a huge breakthrough for us.
Mm-hmm.
Because that changed, when I tell you, that changed the direction of my wife, her perspective. That changed the direction of my kids and their perspective.
Yeah.
It changed the path to get my entire family closer to their destiny of what God purposed them to do on this earth.
Mm-hmm.
It might not have got them right, but I promise you, I know it has. So once that started happening, once I wanted to become a better leader, once I started doing the research and the studying, once that stuff happened, guess what started happening? The person I was talking to when I was doing the research and doing all this stuff was who?
It was me.
The one person that I couldn't have a conversation with without me and her going at each other's throat. Now we having 2-3 hour conversations about meaningful stuff, about our life, about setting stuff up.
Yeah.
When you change your perspective, it can happen.
Yeah.
It can happen. So once that happened, we started talking. Then once we started talking, it led into other conversations about other stuff. Then I can say our relationship grew from there because it went from me loving you to me really liking,
Right.
which is another part of love.
Right.
So once I started liking you, the like part, because you can love somebody, but don't really want to be around them like that. So you can, you know what we say. Yeah, God told me I got to love them, but I ain't got to like them. So I can do this for them, but I ain't got to be there. I can do them a cash app right quick. It'll do a little $20 cash app, but I ain't got to be with them. So stuff can happen like that. And when you like someone, that's when you start seeing the value and the worth of what the time being with them is. So that's what pushed us into a whole different dimension
Yeah.
that we didn't even know existed.
Yeah.
So once we started talking about the leadership stuff and the things and the thoughts, the more I started talking about the things I was thinking about, the thoughts, the more Deirdra talked, which activated more stuff inside me,
Yeah.
which had me talk about stuff that wasn't in books. So it was like I began to talk from a place of where God placed something in me that I still didn't know we had.
Mm-hmm.
So it becomes so much more than what you guys think it can be. It's deep, but it ain't that deep.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
deep, but it ain't that deep. So when you get to a place of covenant, covenant love is a whole different level of love.
Ah.
The covenant love is where you already forgave
the person.
someone.
Yeah.
Just because they're human and you know they're gonna make mistakes, that you already forgiven
Yeah.
them for things that they're gonna do in the future. So it's not even an issue when it
Right.
comes up.
Right.
That's a whole different kind of love. That's that agape unconditional covenant love. When you deal with people on a regular basis, most pastors have this. They have to have this. They have to have a covenant love for Christ, and the Christ that lives in them loves his people. Because if they didn't have that, Joker, some of y'all Christians, whoo, I ain't even no pastor. I can't deal with some of the Christians. I'm telling you. So I already know, and this their job.
Well, there you have it.
So it's bigger, but this love,
Loving one another.
love is so
Loving your
big.
neighbor. That's where it comes in.
Yeah,
Honey.
it's so big.
Yeah.
It's on so many
Yeah.
different levels. But I really think the
Yeah.
love part for us in the relationship, in the marriage, how it grew, and I think that's where it took off at. And when I tell you we've been on a straight incline since then, it's it's
we
been
have
a
our
straight
hiccups,
incline.
but when we began to understand, that when I think God revealed to us what true love, unconditional love for one another is. And because there have been some experiences where we'd be like, for real?
Yeah.
This happened and I still love you and I still like you?
Yeah.
Yeah, nobody but him can give you that type of togetherness, that type of bond, that type of unity, that type of love. And I feel like as long as you look to him, that'll be another one of those things added.
Yeah.
As long as you're seeking him, that's going to be another thing added.
And to all my fellas who feel like, it's no way, it ain't no way Johnny on there talking about he don't need no time to himself. But let me explain something to you. Because I've invested my time, my heart, everything into my wife, and we woven together as one.
Yeah.
When I need time to myself, guess what? I don't have to ask for it. She feels it. She knows. But something else that I do is I don't go no place else to get time to myself. She knows where I'm at. Even if I tell her I need to get away, she will book a room wherever, Florida, Atlanta, wherever. We'll get somewhere, and then she'll leave me to myself.
Yeah.
So I don't have to go and say, man, give me a second. I need to, because I used to be that dude. Hot dog, I just walked in the door. Give me a minute. Give me a minute. I ain't got to do that no more.
Yeah.
Because we're one. So she knows.
I discern that. Yeah.
She knows.
Yeah.
She's my rib. That's what she's supposed to know.
Yeah.
So let me get that myth out your head that you feel like you need time. All my fellas who go to the bar and get a drink before they head to the house. I used to be one of them dudes as well. Once I changed and found, when God gave me that leadership piece and everything looked like it was looking different for my family and I could see results manifesting quickly, my response went, hey, Johnny, hey, man, we going to Applebee's, go get a beer. Nah, bro, I got to go to the house.
Yeah.
What's wrong, man? Nothing. I just got to get to the house. I'm excited to go home now.
Yeah.
Because I got a
And
wife
that-
and
yeah,
kids
that
there.
was a turning point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a wife and kids at the house who looking for leadership, and they've been doing stuff all day, preparing for me to come home and just impart. Rather that, and when you impart, it's basically God giving you something that person needs at that time. And it does not have to, it can be me imparting, hey, take a break, sit down, let's talk, put your cell phones down, whatever the case is, let's do this. Let's go to dinner, let's go bless these people. It's whatever that is.
Yeah.
Because see, what you got to understand is we are the church, and we are a manifestation of who God is on the earth. That's what we are supposed to be.
Yeah.
So when we make decisions to love somebody else, to be something to someone else, like the other night we went to dinner, and because me and my wife are together, we went to dinner. She said, I feel a need to pay for someone's food. Do you feel anybody around here? And I said, no, let me ask God. That's just how that conversation went. By
Yep.
the end of the dinner, God gave me who to pay for. We paid for their dinner, and they looked at us like it was an unbelievable thing.
Yeah.
It's people
That they had never received that type of
so
love or kindness.
At this time, you can't even do something nice for somebody without them looking at you like, what's the catch?
Yeah.
So they was looking like, okay, Joker, what
Which y'all
y'all
want back.
want? What you?
But even in that, we showed them the love of Christ.
Yeah.
With kindness, hugs.
Yeah.
You know, here you go. Merry Christmas, I think is what you should say to them.
And we paid on their check, and it was paid in full. We told the waitress and the tip. So we took care of that. And that's how God shows his love through us to other people.
Yeah.
That's so they saw Johnnie and Deirdra, but I can guarantee you they felt the love of Christ in that. They felt the love of God.
Yeah.
And that's, a lot of people think you have to do a lot of different things to show love to different people. Some people are scared to show love to them. Sometimes it ain't about what you say, it's just about what you do and how you handle a situation.
Yeah.
You can handle a situation, do something, make a decision to do something, and it had God all over it, and then walk off and allow God to do what he do.
Yeah.
Because he got it from there. All he needs you to do is be obedient to what he said, and then he got it from there.
Yeah.
So, the love into once I started liking you, because I'm a very, very likable person. So you liked me long way before I liked you. And what I'm saying is, you ain't really knew who you was. And I understand that.
Lay down that pride, please. You didn't know.
I don't think that's the pride.
You didn't know who you were either.
No, I didn't know who I was. But I can fake it real good.
Yeah, you did.
I can fake it real good.
You faked it real good.
But you didn't know how to fake it. You just ain't know who you was. And I was trying to help you.
You didn't understand me.
Is that what it is?
That's what it was.
That's good. You must have just made that up.
Good.
That's good.
You
That's
heard
good.
that?
But you ain't had that
Can
answer
I get
last.
a seed on that?
You ain't had the answer back then.
I didn't. I really didn't. But you took the time to ask God who I was, and he showed you who I was.
Yeah.
Yep, he showed you how to love me. And he showed me how to tolerate and love you. I'm just playing. He showed me how to love you as well.
When God gave me that leadership piece, I did not get that. Did not comprehend, didn't understand it. But what I did was I was obedient to it.
Yeah.
Because I said, if this what you saying, then it's something I never thought it would be. And once I began to do that, voila.
And you saw his hand. Yeah.
All over it. And I'm talking about fast manifestation.
Yeah.
Stuff changed like in front of my eyes. I could see Deirdra posture and her voice literally changing while I was talking to her in a conversation. I can see, and that's one of the gifts that God has given me, that I can see stuff literally change and transform in front of my eyes when he's a part of it. When he changes something, when he transforms something, when he takes something to another level. And I believe that's his way of giving me confirmation that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
That I'm saying what I'm supposed to be saying.
Builds your confidence.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I was just going through some scriptures, and and came across 1 Corinthians 13, 4 through 8. Well, 4 through 7. It says, love is patient, love is kind.
Yeah.
It does not envy, it does not boast, it is not proud, it does not dishonor others, it is not self seeking, it is not easily angered, it keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I know just from a personal perspective that even when it comes to loving people that you have come across that seem unlovable, that's when you know that you truly have the hand of God on you, and he's graced you and he's expanded your capacity to love, is when you can love other people who are labeled as difficult, and truly admit that you had an issue not with the person but the ways of the person, and you truly allowed God to show you how to love them in spite of
Yeah.
not maybe liking them, as you stated. For me, that was something really, really, really big, and it happened within the church.
Yeah.
And so for me, I was like, oh, I don't want to. This person is difficult. This person is this. This person is that. But he showed me, because because he's given his grace to me when there were times that I was dealing with stuff, and it sometimes made me unlovable to people, probably, or unlikable, but he still graced me and he still gave me grace. So he gave me the opportunity to grace somebody else,
Yeah.
and to show them love even when I felt like I couldn't, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So
And that
I
that
just
that
thank
part.
God for loving me and showing me how to love you, and how to love, our children, and how to love our family, and other people who sometimes, to be completely honest, you don't want to deal with them.
But this is, and you've heard me say this before. My life, my life isn't my life. God is God's life, and in order for me to fulfill my purpose and my destiny at its fullest, I have to live my life as if it is God's.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where a lot of us get jacked up at, because we live our life and the decisions that we make and all that is not as is it was God.
Mm-hmm.
It's us. And sometimes we feel like, well, I'm the one down here living this life and I'm going through what I'm going through. So God, I'm gonna give you like 70%. And then,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna take this rest. But that ain't how it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
It's not supposed to be like that. And as crazy as that may sound, I've 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 never had a problem with my Galaxy Note and went to Apple to get advice on how to get it fixed.
Mm-hmm.
Or went to AT&T. I've never had that. Yes, there are phone companies. Yes, they do exactly the same thing, but they can't help me if they did. They can't help me with what I have if they did not create it.
Created. Yeah.
So you have to understand,
Yeah.
God created you, so He's the only one that understands fully what your full purpose on this earth
Mm-hmm.
is. So if you do not acknowledge that and begin to try to walk in that, there's no way you can fulfill your destiny on this earth.
Yeah.
You don't. I know it seems like you got it now, but you don't have it. I promise you, you don't. And it will be
Yeah.
a time in your life that where you're gonna say, I need to make a change.
Yeah.
I need to make a change.
Amen.
So, what we doing talking about love and the liking, me liking my wife at some point in time. I think it was around year 10 when we were married that I think I began to like you a little bit. Then it began to move forward, and then we're here where we at. But like I said, I believe me getting the advice from God and actually taking Him up on what He said and putting it into play helped everything.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
yeah, at this moment right now at 47, I still make decisions based on my wife and my children, and now my grandchildren, and now my son-in-laws. So I got my mom, my dad. My life is just not my own. It's God's life. But I have a lot of people depending on. I have a lot of responsibility. So when I make decisions, it affects everybody. Everybody.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't want to believe that. But when you make a decision, it just don't affect you. You can't say you don't care. You're doing this because this is how you want it to be. That's not love.
Yeah.
That's not love. That's not unconditional love. That's not loving you. That's being selfish. That's what that's being. And that's real. And I know some people probably do not agree with me with that, but that's being real. The truth is, when you make a decision that benefits only you, that's being selfish.
Yeah.
And we can talk about that.
Selfless. That's a part of
We could talk about
showing
that.
love, being selfless.
We can talk about that. But the goal is not for you to live for God 70% and live for you 30%. That ain't the goal. The goal is to live for God 100%, and then He'll give you houses and on the hill and all that good stuff. I ain't want to go into preaching mode, so let's stop.
Thank you so much.
I felt that coming on. So, this is going to conclude our first part of what love is. This is part one. We're going to have a part two. It's going to be very, very organic, and we're going to talk about love languages and relationships.
Yes.
I'm sure this probably wasn't what you thought it was going to be, but it was the truth. It's Johnnie and Deidra's life, so we wouldn't be telling y'all nothing that didn't happen. It's real.
Yeah. Just ask God for it. He has it all. He has the manuscript for you, for your life, for what you need. Yeah, He knows it all, and so just trust Him, love Him, seek Him, seek first the kingdom of God and His righteousness, and all other things. All these other things will be added. He'll show you how to love your spouse. He'll show you how to love unlovable family members. He'll show you, and He'll put that love in you, and nobody can take it away. Nobody can change it, no matter what the circumstances may be. He'll show you how to love that. Most importantly, like I said, because we are speaking of marriages, but He'll show you how to love your spouse, even in times when you think that you can't, because of whatever has happened between you all. He'll give you that peace. He'll give you that love. He'll give you that joy. He'll give you that, even you may go through some of the terrible times, but He'll restore it. And not only restore it, He'll make it better than it was before you went through everything that you went through. Yeah, so God is love, people. Love each other.
Yeah.
Love one another. Extend love. Show love. Don't just say it. Love is what love does. Is that what the saying is? Like, for real. Don't tell me you love me. Show me you love me. Because words, you can conjure up words any day of the week, any time of the day, but show somebody that you love them.
Yeah. Just do it.
Just do it.
That's our hashtag for this year. We just doing it.
Just do it.
Us, our kids.
Just do it.
Our grandkids, our whole team.
Just do it.
Everything.
We do not own the copyrights to Nike.
No, we
don't.
don't
Put that in it. But we just saying,
we will
just
take
do
the
it.
words and we gonna use that.
Do it. Just do it. And it is whatever God says for you to do.
Yeah,
be obedient.
You got stuff that God put on your heart.
He's ordered your steps.
That you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
And right now we got graveyards full of vision and stuff that can change the world, that impact the world, that can probably solve some of the problems that we got now. But because they did not do it, it's in the grave with them, which is doing nobody no good. So yeah, although you might think that idea or that vision is dumb or simple or you can't get to it or whatever the case is, we challenge you to just do it.
Just do it.
Just do it.
Just do it. Yeah.
If it don't work out, it's not a loss. It's a learn. You learn it, take it back to the drawing board and do it again. That's it.
Yeah. Just do it.
Just do it.
I'm just doing it, Mobley.
Me too,
I'm just
girl.
loving you. I'm just in these streets loving you.
You always got to take
I
it
always
somewhere.
got to be a thug.
Why? I don't know why. You got a piece of thug
but
bone
I
in
love
your
you
body.
hard. I love you hard, Mobley.
Just
You love me hard.
I love you hard.
You love
too,
me
baby.
long time. You remember that? Where that came from?
I don't know. We gonna take it all. All right. This is the conclusion.
He loves
pillow,
me.
pillow talk.
He loves me
Pillow
long
talk.
time, y'all.
Moments with the Mobleys. I am Johnny Mobley Jr.
And I'm his wife, Deirdra Mobley.
And we are just something like an ordinary couple.
We're just an ordinary couple, y'all, out in these streets loving each other with extraordinary purpose.
Peace out. Y'all be good.
Bye. Night, night.